All right, so we're here with new Colts offensive lineman Danny Pinter. He's played tight end and offensive line for Ball State, and now a member of the Indianapolis Colts. So, Danny, thanks for joining us. And you really didn't have to travel that far to go to your professional team. Is that a sense of relief?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a blessing. When you're going through the process, you see Indy as one of the teams, but it's a 1 in 32 chance. So to actually have that happen is, definitely a great situation to be in. So I'm thankful for it.
Absolutely. And you're from South Bend, so just keeping it here in the Hoosier State. Now, walk me through that moment when you're watching the TV or you're at your virtual draft party. What's going through your mind? Did you get the phone call? What's happening there?
Yeah. So leading up to it, you're just stressed out because you just don't know. There's so many unknowns to the process of it. So yeah, it was a little tense, and then all of a sudden, the phone went off and saw it was an Indy area code, and got to talk to the general manager and the head coach, and a sense of relief in a little bit, but, more than anything else, just a lot of excitement, and definitely a lot of emotions to go through. So it was a really cool moment.
Absolutely. And I'm sure a lot of Ball State was pretty excited too when they saw your name up on that board. So tell me a little bit about what your friends and family were saying about this.
Yeah, they're all super excited. It's awesome to stay in the area, stay close to all them. And obviously I would have stayed connected with them in whatever way that would have been, but now it's just a lot easier and you can do it in person. So everyone's pretty excited. Most of my friends are Colts fans anyway, so they're excited from that end too. So yeah, no, it's been really cool ever since it happened. And yeah, I'm just excited to get going.
Now, this is the first ever virtual draft. How is that different than maybe what you would have anticipated, say, last year?
For me, it wasn't too different. I think it changed mostly for the guys that like win the first round, second round that would have been out there in Vegas and that sort of thing. I know that was a little different. I trained with some of those guys, and so they said their setup was a little unique. But for me, my plan didn't change. I was just going to come home and watch with my family anyway. So I was able to still do that. I'm sure it was a little different for the team sides from their end, but for me, it wasn't anything too different.
Now, you were picked actually ahead of a lot of guys that were in major conferences. One of them that stood out to me was Jake Fromm. You went ahead of Fromm, and a lot of people expected him maybe to go in the third or fourth round. So how does that feel to maybe be drafted ahead of some guys that they were saying should have went way earlier?
Yeah, it's cool, definitely. It's an awesome opportunity. I think it kind of shows, like that there's not that big a difference between Power 5 and non-Power 5 schools that some people make it up to be. I think at the end of the day, football's football, and they're going to find you wherever you play at. So that was definitely cool. I have a lot of pride in playing for the MAC and playing for Ball State. So it's just a chance to represent those two, whether it's the conference or the team. It's just a cool opportunity.
Did that kind of give you a chip on your shoulder going in, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you're going through the process, you're training with guys from huge schools, doing the combine with guys from all the big schools. So definitely you want to represent the conference that you come from, the team you come from, and just show that we can compete with them as well.
Now, how did that combine treat you? Was that something that you think benefited you going forward into the draft?
I do, yeah. I did pretty well at the combine. I felt good about how I did there, whether it was the on-field or just meeting with the teams. So I think that was definitely something that played to my advantage. It definitely helped me throughout the process. And yeah, it was just something I was really grateful to have the opportunity because it wasn't a guarantee for me until right at the end there. So it was a cool opportunity. I think it definitely helped.
Right, definitely. Now, speaking of those cool opportunities, they just keep coming. Now you're on the Indianapolis Colts, which was one of the best O-lines in the league last year. So there's already some pretty high stakes for you there. And last year, all 5 of their guys started all 16 games. It was the only team that was able to do that in the league. So what kind of opportunities and challenges does that present to you?
Yeah, for me, it's awesome because, it's a great group of guys to come in and learn from. So I'm just going to be open to whatever advice I can get from them, whether it's big, small, anything they think can help. That's what I'm going to do is just be open to them because, that they're great guys to learn from for sure. There's definitely you got to come in and compete, which is certainly what I'm going to do. I'm a competitive person, so I'm just going to come in and compete and work as hard as I can. And obviously you're competing to play. So that's my goal is to do that. And then however that shapes out, you just got to embrace whatever role that may be, whether it's playing or whether that's, you got to be more supportive role. That's what I'm going to do. So that's certainly my plan is just to come in and work and let everything else take care of itself.
Now you're a pretty versatile player too. I think it's safe to say, obviously playing tight end, switching over to the offensive line, and you've played a little bit of guard and tackle. So is that going to transition directly into the pros?
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to do is just play as many positions as I can, to help them however they need. That's something I've talked about with them is they like me as a guard and a center, and potentially move out to tackle if I needed to. So that's my goal is just to put in the work to play whatever position I can, because that'll benefit them the most if they have someone that can play all across the line. So that's certainly something I'm working on.
Absolutely. Now, how does it feel knowing you're with Frank Reich, Philip Rivers is a potential future Hall of Famer? What's that like, and what's going through your mind thinking about that?
It's awesome. I mean, I'm just excited to get to work here. Hopefully with everything that's going on right now, that's sooner than later. Because it's a great organization to be a part of. It's just got a lot of people with great minds who have had a lot of success in the league for a long time. So it's something that really excites me. I'm just ready to get in there and get to work and learn as much as I can from them.
Now, you mentioned, it's kind of a crazy time with the whole coronavirus situation. So, what are you doing to stay in shape during this pandemic?
I've been working out still. I have access to a gym, which is pretty fortunate from in comparison to some guys that have get pretty unique. So I've been doing that, been running, been doing a bunch of position work and stuff in the yard. Yoga. I mean, you got to get creative in some ways. I mean, it is what it is, but everyone's in the same position, so it's who's going to maximize the most they can out of the situation, and just get stuff out of it.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about, being in your home state. So, at the end of the day, what does that mean to you?
Everything. I mean, Indiana means a lot to me. I have a lot of pride in being from here. It's the only state I've ever known. It's the only place I've ever lived or played football at. So, to continue to live here, have the opportunity to play here, and just be around all the people that have helped me get to this point, is something that definitely means a lot to me. So it's not something I take lightly. I definitely have a lot of pride in that.
Absolutely. So now let's kind of switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about Ball State and some of your memories that you've had here and time you spent. Now, you redshirted your freshman year and then played the rest of your 4 years out under Coach New. He's given you a lot of advice during your time here. So what did he say? Did he have any advice for you when you got drafted, or what was he saying about that?
He called me when I got drafted, and it was just congratulating me. But he's been awesome throughout this whole process. I really can't thank him enough. Whether that's giving me advice, I mean, because he's been on the NFL side of it, giving me advice or just giving me encouragement, that sort of thing. I mean, he's been awesome throughout this whole process, even before that. He's preparing you for it when you're not even thinking about it, just by holding you to the highest standard. So he's been awesome. He's been a great tool for me, and I know he'll still be there for me whenever I need him in the future here.
Absolutely. Now, how does he go about that? How does he prepare you in each, I guess, on a practice standpoint? What does he do specifically that helps with that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, well, from an X and O standpoint, it's a pretty pro style offense we run because he came from the Saints, so that's something that definitely helped me because it just translated easily when I'm talking to other coaches. I was able to pick up their schemes a little easier because they translate so similar to ours, so that helped. And then just from like a personal standpoint, I mean, he expects the most out of you, which is awesome, and he expects the most out of everyone. So you always are working, and he definitely just instills a work ethic in you, whether you consciously see it or you don't. I mean, everyone has a work ethic, just because they're trying to meet that standard. So he's awesome. He's been great for this program, and I think Ball State's really about to take off, and he has a huge part to do with that.
We certainly hope so, for sure. Now, what specifically about like the community at Ball State was able to help prepare you, if anything, for the NFL?
Yeah, just so many awesome people. Whether that's from football coaches, teammates, the support system there, or the athletics program here, the professors, teachers. President Mern sent me a text after. I mean, it's just full of awesome people that I know I wouldn't be at this point without all these people, and just how supportive they are for anyone who's going through any type of journey. They're just awesome, and so I mean, yeah, my time at Ball State means a lot to me, and it's just because of the people there.
For sure. Now, we talked earlier about you switching from tight end to O-line. Whose idea was that, and what exactly became of that? I mean, that was kind of a transition that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah, so in 2017, it was our offensive line coach at the time, Coach Devan. He's at Arizona now. But he was always kind of joking about it. And at the end of the season, they approached me about it and just said, hey, like, we think we need a tackle for next year. We think it'd be the best interest of both the team and you if you made that switch. So, I just embraced it from the jump and just went for it. And, I mean, there was certainly some learning struggles with it. It was a lot of trial and error, and, you got to put all the weight on. So it was just about getting better every day. I mean, that's kind of my mindset was. So, I mean, I think that certainly helped me get to this point. And yeah, it was a unique transition, but it was definitely a good thing.
Now, was that something you had ever done in high school, or were you pretty much a tight end up until college?
Actually, my sophomore year, I was a tackle, but I was like 180 pounds, so I don't know that you could necessarily call it a tackle. But yeah, and then the next 2 years I played tight end. So I guess it was a little coming back to the offensive line was kind of cool. But I was mostly a tight end.
So talking about Ball State again, overall, you've had a lot of memories on and off the field. What are some of the memories that rank towards the top?
Yeah, I'd say just the whole senior year for me. I think from an outside view, when you look at wins and losses, some people might not view it as a positive thing, but I think anyone in that building or close to the program just knows how monumental that year was, because we were beating teams that before we never even stood a chance with, and we were combined 8 points away from playing for the conference championship against a team that we beat. So this whole last year, just seeing on and off the field, just the culture that's been established there. That was just a really special thing to be a part of. And, like specific games, like beating Miami, Ohio, beating Northern Illinois, those were awesome moments. But I'd say just the whole year in itself was really cool for both I and my senior class.
What do you see going forward for Ball State football?
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit, honestly. I'm really excited. I think the biggest thing, is just that culture is established, and there's that standard that's really set there. So I mean, the talent's certainly there. There's no doubt about that. So I'm just really excited to see them take off. And I mean, there's no question they should be competing for the conference championship.
Now, Drew Plitt was one of the standout players on that roster last year, coming back this year. What was your relationship with Drew Plitt like?
Oh, it's awesome. Drew's the man. I mean, I love Drew. First, I mean, just the way he works. I mean, he's a leader, just by the respect he commands from the way he works. But then he's a vocal leader. He's awesome. I mean, we really rallied around him. He was kind of the heartbeat of the offense. So he's awesome. I can't say enough good things about him. I've stayed in touch with him. He's just a great dude on and off the field. So I'm really excited to watch him this year. I think it's going to be a huge year for him.
Now, when it comes to new college players, guys coming in from high school, maybe don't really know the change of speed in the game and everything, what would be your advice to those new guys?
Yeah, I'd say just stick with it. Just work hard. I think that's the answer to any type of problem you have is just to work hard. There's definitely going to be bumps in the road. It's not an easy transition to make, but it's about sticking to it and, committing to get better every single day. And then just trusting that eventually if I work hard, it's going to come through.
Would you say the same about the NFL? I mean, what do you expect the transition now from college to pros to be like?
Yeah, I mean that's certainly been my same approach to it. I just work hard and just stay committed to it. I mean, there, like I said, there's definitely gonna be bumps in the road. Things aren't always gonna go your way, but it's just about staying committed to what you want the future to be. So that's certainly my goal is just to come in and work as hard as I can. Just hold myself to that standard.
Absolutely. Now, if you could change one thing, say, about your college football experience, I know you said it was great as it was, but if you could change one thing, what would that be?
That's tough. I mean, certainly, when you look at wins and losses, I think someone in our position for my class, they'd hope to change that, but I don't necessarily know that change anything just because I think, going through that struggle, those tough years kind of has put Ball State where it is now. And so, it's about something bigger than yourself. So, I mean, I would go through that 100 times again if it meant that Ball State is where it is now. So I don't necessarily know that I'd change anything.
Absolutely. So now I've got to ask too, I mean, a lot of guys talk about, they have a certain player they watch growing up throughout their childhood, and that kind of inspires and drives their game as they grow and develop and mature as a football player. Was there anybody like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I was a big Brian Urlacher fan for sure. Just the way he played the game was awesome. But then also, when I made the switch over to offensive line, I watched a lot of Lane Johnson for the Eagles because he had made the same switch a little earlier in his career. But you could just see it in his game, just how athletic he was. So he's someone I tried to watch a lot when I made that switch.
And as far as Muncie goes, talking about Muncie, we're back. If you ever got the chance to come back to Muncie, whether it be during your playing career or whatever, or just with the guys on the team, where would be the first place you go out to eat?
That's a good question. So Pete's Bar and Grill in Albany. It's a little bit of a drive, but he used to be our chef for football, and he's awesome. And so even when I came back from the combine, I went there a couple of times. So it's like a 15, 20-minute drive, but it's really good. It's worth the trip.
Yeah, I'll have to try that myself sometime.
Yeah.
Now, as far as everything else goes at Ball State, what were some of the programs here that you found most helpful to you other than football?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, it was a broad thing, but, I was in the MBA program, and that was really cool, because I just met a lot of people, whether it was classmates or teachers who, they kind of help you set up a future past football, establishing what you want to do and how to do it, and just how to approach the professional world. Because, a lot of your fellow classmates are people that are already in the business world and have been in it for a long time. So that was a cool experience for me.
All right, well, great. Danny, thank you very much for your time. Danny Pinter, former Ball State Cardinal and current Indianapolis Colt. Danny, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.